Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Yata Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivishkam Vitamscha Om Agyana Timaranda Shagyana Jana Shalakaya Chakshurum Mimidam Yena Tasma Shigurave Nama Gorva Bistam Supurakam Gurganara Sesha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipanam Shirupa Patanagam Govindabidam Ujwalam Bharatanum Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Bande Vishwagurun Shan Divyad Bhagavat Prem Noe Bija Pranam Devam Devyatanam Suchandavaranam Balarka Shelan Shitam Sandrananda Puram Sadekavaranam Vairagya Vidyam Buddhim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Varam Banditam Shubhanam Madeka Sharanam Yashishvara Sridharam Vanshakopatarubyasya Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahamaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratavishe Nama. So we're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami with translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupad. So before we go in, I'd like to say that Srila Bhakti Kushamashram Maharaj is here, and he is going to be with us for some days. And we want to welcome Srila Ashram Maharaj. We're very fortunate that he's with us. And
I also feel like I'm very fortunate to be with all of you and hearing this nice reading of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita.
All right. Very good, Ishwarananda. Very good. Okay, so we're reading from Madhya-lila, chapter 15. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya offers prashadam. And we're on verse 137. Now, we haven't yet got to Mahaprabhu taking prashadam in the house of Sarvabhauma. The chapter begins with bidding farewell to all the devotees who had visited him in Jagannath Puri. The devotees would come during the Chaturmasha and stay for 4 months and stay for the Rath Yatra celebration and be with Mahaprabhu. And at the end of the 4 months, they would return to Bengal. So now they're leaving, and Mahaprabhu is bidding farewell to all the individual devotees. So we're at the point, at the verse number 137, he's already bid farewell to, he's given, he's glorified many of the devotees, and here he's glorifying Murari Gupta. Murari Gupta re Prabhu Korea Lingan, Tarabhakti Nishta Kohen Shune Bhaktagan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then embraced Murari Gupta and began to speak about his firm faith in devotional service. This was heard by all the devotees. Purvayami ihare lo maila barbar Paramamadura Gupta Brajendra Kumar. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, previously I induced Murari Gupta again and again to be allured by Lord Krishna. I said to him, my dear Gupta, Lord Shri Krishna Brajendra Kumar is the supreme sweetness. Swayam Bhagavan Krishna Sarvam Shi Sarvashray Vishuddha Nirmala Prema Sarva Rasamoy. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the origin of all incarnations and the source of everything. He is pure transcendental love itself, and he is the reservoir of all pleasure. Sakala Sadguna Brinda Ratna Ratnakar Vidagda Chaturdira Rasika Shikar. Krishna is the reservoir of all transcendental qualities. He's like a mine of gems. He is an expert at everything, very intelligent and sober. And he is the summit of all rasas. He's the, so, or as it says here, is the summit of all transcendental humors. Now, what's happening here is Murari Gupta, he worships Lord Ramachandra. That's his deity, and that's who he's very much devoted to. But Mahaprabhu is more or less testing him by saying that we all worship Krishna, and Krishna is the supreme Lord and the supreme personality of Godhead. So he's saying that to Murari Gupta. Madhura Chaitra Krishna Madhura Vilas Chaturya Vaidagya Kore Janardan Ras. Krishna's character is very sweet, and his pastimes are melodious. They're very sweet, and he is expert in intelligence, and thus he enjoys all his pastimes and Lila Rasa. He has relations with the devotees in all his pastimes. Say Krishna Bhaja Tumi, how Krishna Shrai, Krishna Vina Anya Upasana Manena Hiloi. I then requested Murari Gupta worship Krishna and take shelter of him, but for his service nothing appeals to the mind. Emanta barbar shunya bachan amara gorave kichu firigelaman. In this way he heard from me again and again. By my influence his mind was a little converted. Amare kohin ami tomara kinkar tomara agyakari ami nahi swatantar. Murari Gupta then replied, I'm your servant and your order carrier. I have no independent existence. Eta bole gare gela chinti ratrikale raguna tyaga chintai hoila vikale. After this, Murari Gupta went home and spent the whole night thinking how he would have to give up the association of Raghunath, Lord Ramachandra. Thus he was overwhelmed. Kemone chadiba Raghunath Deracharan Aji Ratriye Prabhu Mora Koraha Maran. Murari Gupta then began to pray at the lotus feet of Lord Ramachandra. He prayed that death would come that night because it was not possible for him to give up the service of the lotus feet of Raghunath. That's Lord Ramachandra. Imanta Sarva Ratri Korana Krandan Mane Soyasti Nahe Ratri Koila Jagaran. Thus Murari Gupta cried the entire night. There was no rest for his mind. Therefore he could not sleep, but stayed awake the entire night. Can someone get a glass of water, please? Maybe one for Ashramars too. Pratakali Asimora Dori Lacharan Kandide Gechu Kore Nibedan. In the morning, Murari Gupta came to see me. Catching hold of my feet and crying, he submitted an appeal. Raghunath Terapai Mui Bechi Jachon Mata Kadite Na Parimata Mane Pai Byata. Murari Gupta said, I have sold my head unto the lotus feet of Raghunath. I cannot withdraw my head, for that would give me too much pain. So he's saying he can't change his worship of Lord Raghunath. It's interesting because in this respect, Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, actually this kind of petition to others, he said, it's not impossible, and it is, devotees can come to the worship of Lord Krishna even if they're in the even if they're worshipping other deities. But in the case of Murari Gupta, it's something unique, and he was not able to do so. And one reason maybe is Mahaprabhu will reveal he's an incarnation of Hanuman, like that, the servant of Lord Ramachandra. So Murari Gupta said, I have sold my head unto the lotus feet of Raghunath. I cannot withdraw my head, for that would give me too much pain. Sri Raghunath Charan Charanana Jai Taba Agya Banga Hoy Ki Karon Upai. It is not possible for me to give up the service of Raghunath's lotus feet. At the same time, if I do not do so, I shall break your order. What can I do? Because Mahaprabhu had requested him. Tate more e kripa koradoya moy tomara age mrityu hauk joka samshoy. In this way, Murari Gupta appealed to me, saying, you are all merciful, so kindly grant me this mercy. Let me die before you, so that all my doubts will be finished. Etta shunyami bora mane sukha pailun, ihare utaya tabe alingana koilun. Hearing this, I became very happy. Mahaprabhu is speaking. Hearing this, I became very happy. I then raised Murari Gupta and embraced him. Sadhu Sadhu Gupta Tomar Sudrida Bhajan Amara Vachana Tomar Na Talilaman. I said to him, all glories to you, Murari Gupta. Your method of worship is very firmly fixed, so much so that even upon my request, your mind did not turn. Now, here it's translated, all glories to you, Murari Gupta. So that's a correct translation. But sometimes we can say, all glories to you, we could say Jai, Murari Gupta. But in this case, Mahaprabhu uses the word sadhu, sadhu. That's a very emphatic way of saying that this all glories to you is also saying you're a real sadhu. You're a real holy man. Sadhu, sadhu. Your method of worship is very firmly fixed, so much so that even upon my request, your mind did not change. Emata seva kera priti chahi Prabhupada, Prabhu chadai leha para charanana jai. The servitor must have love and affection for the lotus feet of the Lord exactly like this. Even if the Lord wants separation, a devotee cannot abandon the shelter of his lotus feet. Emanta tomar nishta chani bharatare, tomare agraha ame koilun bare bare. Just to test your firm faith in your Lord, I requested you again and again to change your worship from Lord Ramachandra to Krishna. Sakat Hanuman Tumi Sri Rama Kinkar Tumi Kene Chadi Be Tara Charana Kamal. In this way, I congratulated Murari Gupta, saying, indeed, you are an incarnation of Hanuman. Consequently, you are the eternal servant of Lord Ramachandra. Why should you give up the worship of Lord Ramachandra and his lotus feet? So you could say, if Mahaprabhu already knew that, why did he ask Murari Gupta to change to the worship of Lord Krishna? And the answer is, he knew what the result would be, but he wanted to glorify Murari Gupta, and so he proposed this as a test to let me see what kind of love you have for Lord Ramachandra. So it was done. It was done actually for the glorification of Murari Gupta. Say Murari Gupta mora pranasam ihara dainya shuni mora pataye jivan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, I accept this Murari Gupta as my life and soul. When I hear of his humility, it perturbs my very life. Tabe Vasudeve Prabhu Korea Lingan Taraguna Kohe Hoya Sahasrabadan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then embraced Vasudeva Datta and began to speak of his glories as if he had 1,000 mouths. Nijaguna Shunidata Manela Japan. Nijaguna Shunidata Manela Japaya. Nibredana Kore Prabhu Charane Doria. When Mahaprabhu glorified him, Vasudeva Datta immediately became very much embarrassed and shy. He then submitted himself, touching the Lord's lotus feet. Jagatarite Prabhu Tomara Avatar Mora Nivedana E Koraha Angikar. Vasudeva Datta told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, "My dear Lord, you incarnate just to deliver all conditioned souls. I now have one petition which I wish you would accept. Korite samartha tumi hao doyamoy tumi manakora tabe anayase hoy. My Lord, you are certainly able to do whatever you like, and you are indeed merciful. If you so desire, you can very easily do whatever you want." You can sit there, very good. Jivara deki mora hridaya birare sarva jivara pap prabhu deho mora shire. My Lord, my heart breaks to see the sufferings of all the conditioned souls. Therefore, I request you to transfer the karma of their sinful lives unto my head. So he wants to accept the karma for all the jivas who are in material existence. And he says, if you transfer their karma to me, then they can come to your lotus feet, and that will be very wonderful. So he wants to accept the karma of all the conditioned souls, which you can imagine is a lot of karma. It's pretty heavy. But he's of that name. This is Vasudeva Datta. Jivara pap loya mui karon naraka bog sakala jivara prabhu guchaha bavarog. My dear Lord, let me suffer perpetually in a hellish condition, accepting all the sinful reactions of all living entities. Please finish their diseased material life. Etashuni ma prabhu chita dravila ashrukampa swarbange kohite lagila. So here Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur gives the following commentary on this verse. In the Western countries, Christians believe that Lord Jesus Christ, their spiritual master, appeared in order to eradicate all the sins of his disciples. To this end, Lord Jesus Christ appeared and disappeared. Here, however, we find and obviously Christ suffered on the cross so he could accept the sins of the condition. He could relieve the conditioned soul, give them relief from their sinful life. Here, however, we find Sri Vasudeva Datta and Srila Haridas Thakur to be many millions of times more advanced, even when compared with Lord Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ relieved only his followers from all sinful reactions, but Vasudeva Datta is here prepared to accept the sins of everyone in the universe. So the comparative position of Vasudeva Datta is millions of times better than that of Lord Jesus Christ. A Vaishnava is so liberal that he is prepared to risk everything to rescue the conditioned souls from material existence. Srila Vasudeva Datta Thakur is universal love itself, for he was willing to sacrifice everything and fully engage in the service of the Supreme Lord. And then this purport goes on, but I'm not going to read the whole purport, and I'll just say that, this is Srila Prabhupada's comment on the magnanimity of Vaishnavas. And so, anyway, I'm reading the purport faithfully. Eta Shuni Mahaprabhu Chitta Dravila Ashrukampas Sarbange Kohite Lagila. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard Vasudeva's Datta's statement, his heart became very soft. Tears flowed from his eyes, and he began to tremble. In a faltering voice, he spoke as follows. Tomara vachitra nahe tumi sakat pralad, tomaru pare krishnera sampurna prashad. Accepting Vasudeva Datta as a great devotee, the Lord said, such a statement is not at all astonishing, because you are the incarnation of Prahlad Maharaj. It appears that Lord Krishna has bestowed complete mercy upon you. There is no doubt about it. So, I consider that Prabhupada's comment, if somebody says, do you accept that comment? I say yes, completely. But I can see where it could cause a lot of polemics. If I was in certain circles and I read that comment, it could cause an uproar. But I'm reading it in the Chaitanya Charitamrita class. Different persons. Anyway, that's the expression of my Gurudev, so I tried to read it. Krishna se satya kore je mage britya. Accepting Vasudeva Datta as a great devotee, the Lord said, such a statement is not at all astonishing, because you are the incarnation of Prahlad Maharaj. It appears that Lord Krishna has bestowed complete mercy upon you. There is no doubt about it. Krishna se satya kore je mage britya, britya vancha purti binu nahi anya kritya. Whatever a pure devotee wants from his master, Lord Krishna doubtlessly grants, because he has no duty other than to fulfill the desire of his devotee. Now I remember when I was with Srila Prabhupada when he left this world, and so, a little before, many of his godbrothers came to see him, like Krishnadas Babaji and other devotees from the Gaudiya Math. And Srila Prabhupada said, if I have ever spoken to you or spoken about you or to you strongly, I would ask your forgiveness. But Srila Prabhupada said, this was my style of preaching, to preach with the Srimad Bhagavatam in one hand and an axe in the other. And he said, Srila Prabhupada said, I was not so shy about how I would preach, or I was not trying to mince any words. So that was the point. And I feel that this comment about Srila Prabhupada's comment is that the Christians, they're always speaking about the sacrifice of Lord Jesus Christ on the cross, of course, but he said what to speak of Vasudeva Datta, that's begging the Lord to give him the reactions of everybody's karma, of all jivas. He's sincerely petitioning that. So Srila Prabhupada is saying, this is the feeling of a Vaishnava. The feeling of a Vaishnava is paradukkha dukhi. When a Vaishnava sees the suffering of other people, he suffers. And he wants to do something about that. It's not passive. So, anyway, I think the main point about this is not to diminish the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, but to show that this is the sentiment of Vaishnavas, that they have compassion for people. They're not indifferent to other people's suffering. And actually, if you look at it, you'll see that whether they know it or not, all the conditioned souls in this world are actually suffering. They may not know it, but they are actually all suffering. And even on the even in a general observation, it says, what is some of the suffering? Birth, death, old age, and disease. These are 4 parameters that are there. Everyone has to go through some suffering at the time of birth. Of course, they don't remember that. And certainly there's suffering at the time of death. And someone may say, well, some people don't suffer at the time of death. Some people die in their sleep. I'm not convinced by that argument, that people don't suffer at the time of death. There's Hridaya Grunti, there's a knot of attachment, a knot of attachment in our heart for this material body, and it's not easy. We identify this material body, and it's not easy for us to leave this material body. And I even said to the devotees, when I pass away, don't even think about putting me in samadhi. Just put me, like Bhaktivedanta Swami, cremate my body. I've had enough attachment for this body. I don't want more attachment. So finish. And so birth, death, and old age, yeah, people suffer in old age also. Maybe you talked to your granny and heard from her or something, but they're suffering in old age. And then old age and birth, death, old age, and disease. And you suffer when you have disease. And I saw different people react in different way to the pandemic, to the coronavirus. But I know Acharya Maharaj, he passed away. Bhakti Charu, an Acharya in ISKCON, he passed away for coronavirus. I know devotees who lost their father, their brother, and this and that due to coronavirus. So I imagine there's some suffering in disease too, for the person who has the disease and for the person who loses someone dear to them. So these are just 4 things going on in material existence. And then, there's so many other forms of suffering that people will say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Are you sure about that? I'm not so sure about that words will never hurt me. People can, and I even heard Srila Govinda Maharaj comment about that. There are things that people can say to you that are worse than getting punched in the face. It's not like words will never hurt me. I mean, there's obviously words that will hurt you, and words that you can say to others which will hurt them. So, that's in addition to birth, death, old age, and disease. We're not even talking about words or violence that goes on in this world. There is continual violence going on everywhere, wars and so many things that happen. And I remember when you go to India, you see so many people who live on the side of the road, or who live in the train stations, and obviously you would think their lives is very difficult. I'm sure in some ways it is, but actually, one comment I heard is there are always going to be, whether it's in India or here or in any country, there are always going to be people who live by the footpath. There are always people who live on the road who don't even have any place to dwell. And we see that in all the countries like Santa Cruz. There's so many homeless people. They don't even know. They don't know what to do with the homeless people, so it becomes fodder for political arguments about people saying that, they should be collected and thrown into the garbage pile, and then other people saying that, there are different political positions. Some people say that it's the government's fault to not provide for provisions for people who don't have any money or don't have any place to live. And other people say, no, these people, they're addicted to drugs or alcohol, or they're crazy and you can't do anything to come. So people go on arguing. But obviously there are some difficulties in material existence, even if you consider everyone has to suffer birth, death, old age, and disease. But according to your karma, you may also suffer other things. Other things may happen. A safe may fall on your head while you're walking, or a brick. So that, someone would say, how does that happen? Well, that's somebody's karma. Somebody's karma. So Vasudeva Datta, he says, okay, I want to accept everyone's karma, so they won't have to suffer any of these things. And then they can, if they're relieved of all their karma, then they can think serious, that without any sinful reactions and everything, maybe then they can think seriously about having some spiritual life and relationship with the Lord. Krishna says, Satya kore je mage britya, britya bancha, purti binu nahi anya kritya. Whatever a pure devotee wants from his master, Lord Krishna doubtlessly grants, because he has no duty other than to fulfill the desire of his devotee. So this is Mahaprabhu answering Vasudeva Datta. If you wish to accept the karma of all the living entities, Mahaprabhu says, if it's the wish of a pure devotee, that wish will be granted. But he says, Brahmanda jivera tumi banchile nishtar bina pap boge habe sabara unar. If you desire the deliverance of all living entities within the universe, then all of them can be delivered even without your undergoing the tribulations of sinful activity. In other words, Mahaprabhu says, if you desire that they will all get deliverance, they can be delivered, and you don't have to accept all their karma in order to do so. Lord, Asamarta nahi Krishna dare Sarvabhauma tomake ba kene bunjaibe papafal. Krishna is not incapable, for he has all potencies. Why would he induce you to suffer the sinful reactions of other living entities? Tumi jara hit bansha se hoila Vaishnavara pap Krishna dura koresaba. Whosoever welfare you desire immediately becomes a Vaishnava, and Krishna delivers all Vaishnavas from the reactions of their past sinful activities. So here Mahaprabhu is saying, by your desire, if you desire that all these persons will become Vaishnavas, then it will happen, and they will all be delivered from whatever sufferings they have. And then somebody could say, well, how does that work? And it's say, well, you may not see all this with your vision or all this with your immediate experience, but the soul is eternal. And if Mahaprabhu says, by the desire of a pure devotee, this will happen, then it will happen. Just may not happen within your range of experience, or, you may not see this happening like that. But Mahaprabhu is granting Vasudeva Datta's desire. Yastvindra gopam atavendra maho swakarma bandhanu rupa phala bhajanam atanoti karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam govindamani parusham tamaham bhajami. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the original personality of Godhead, Govinda, who regulates the sufferings and enjoyments due to fruitive activity. He does this for everyone, from the heavenly king Indra down to the smallest insect, Indragopa. That very personality of Godhead destroys the karmic reactions of one engaged in devotional service. So, in other words, we're saying if there's a pure devotee being present, has the potency to liberate all the jiva souls. So one may say, how? How can this be? How can this be? And I would say, well, I have faith. I have faith in the Lord and in His words. If He says everyone will be liberated, I believe everybody will be liberated. And how they will get the mercy of the Lord through the mercy of a pure devotee. And in my lifetime, I've taken shelter of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Srila Govinda Maharaj, and other Vaishnavas. And do I think they have the power to deliver the living entities? I would say yes. I have that faith in the Vaishnavas. I have that faith in Ashram Maharaj. I have the faith that anybody who comes in contact with him, even remotely, they will get some incalculable mercy and benefit. That he has that quality. So I don't have doubt in these words. I don't think, oh, this is an exaggeration. No. Persons will say, well, do you actually believe all this? I would say, completely I believe it. Why? Because I'm a fanatic. I believe this. This is my, if you can say, this is my fault, that I believe this. I believe every word. I don't doubt this. But, okay, somebody would say, oh, just see the fanaticism of this person. Yes, I'm a fanatic. I admit it. But that doesn't change my belief that I see this as the truth. That these Vaishnavas they can deliver everyone from sinful life by their mercy. Everyone in the universe? Well, why not? We have a big enough bus. Tomare icha matre habe brahmanda mochan sarva mukta korite krishner nahi kichu shama. Because of your honest desire, all living entities within the universe will be delivered. For Krishna does not have to do anything to deliver all the living entities of the universe. Ek udambara brike lage kotifale. But we'll also say, if all the living entities in this universe are delivered, the universe will fill up with living entities again. So this is not a blanket thing. It's saying if all the living entities in the universe during the pure devotee, they'll be delivered. But nature abhors a vacuum, so other living entities coming from different species of life, or then, they'll also graduate and come. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasadi Pai Bhakti Lada Beach. They're living entities wandering through innumerable universes and coming up from the what plane would we say? The Tatashta plane of existence. They're coming from the unmanifest Tattva plane, which is the Brahma Jyoti is full of living entities who are not in the universe, so they can come into the universe and according to their karma, they can get different kinds of dwellings, different kinds of bodies, beach flats and everything. I walk on the beach and I see some, houses that they built on the beach there. And because lumber is very expensive, then they built them with all they built them with wood, and also built them with particle board. And then over that they put, good materials on the outside, like what do they call it? Some kind of cement board. What's that called? It has no, but not before the stucco. It's some kind of something board, hardy board, which is cement type board that looks like wood. So they made them look very nice. And then what will these houses cost for people to have right on the beach? Oh, probably start at $5 million. Chump change for some people. They can buy the house and not even live there, just come there 1 or 2 weeks of the year. So they have that karma that they can have that nice house and this nice rich body and everything, beauty and education and wealth and everything. But because they're using up their karma pretty fast, they may not have that in the future. So they may hope that Vasudeva Datta's, mercy kicks in soon. Because of your honest desire, all living entities within the universe will be delivered, for Krishna does not have to do anything to deliver all the living entities of the universe. Just by your desire, that can happen. Ekudambara brike lage. That verse, by the way, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagavan Jeev. Guru Krishna Prashadi Pai Bhakti Ladavich. It means all the living entities are wandering from one universe to another. This isn't the only universe. From one species of life to another. But Guru Krishna Prashadi Pai. By the mercy of Krishna, one may become fortunate. And so by the mercy of Krishna Bhagavan Ji, one can become a fortunate soul and receive a guru. Guru Krishna Prashadi Pai. By the mercy of Krishna, one can get a guru. Guru Krishna Prashadi Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. And by the mercy of Gurudev, one can get the seed of devotional service to sow in one's heart. And then that seed is watered by the chanting of the holy name. So then Mahaprabhu goes on. Ek udambara brike lage kote fale, kote jay brahmanda bashe, virajala jale. Just as there are millions of fruits on the udambara tree, millions of universes float on the waters of the river Viraja. The river Viraja is the river that separates the spiritual world from the material world, the river Viraja. Viraja is a river that divides the material world from the spiritual world. On one side of the river Viraja is the effulgence of Brahmaloka and innumerable Vaikuntha planets. And on the other side is this material world. It is to be understood that this side of the Viraja river is filled with material planets floating in the causal ocean. The name Viraja indicates a marginal position between the spiritual and material worlds. But the Viraja river is not under the control of the material energy. Consequently, it is devoid of the three gunas. Tara ek falapare jari nashta hoy tatapi vrikanahi jani nija apachai. The Udambara tree is filled with millions of fruits, and if one falls down and is destroyed, the tree does not even consider the loss. There are many things that happen even unperceived. We're aware of so much difficulty in this world. And somebody once commented to Srila Maharaj. Well, it's there in the book, I believe. Maybe don't remember which book, and somebody asked about World War III, and Srila Maharaj said, World War III, let it be. And what does that mean? Then he said, we're not able to judge what is actually our position in the scheme of things. He said, where are we and what is our importance? He said, a point on a line on a plane on a solid. So how many points on a line? Infinite. How many lines on a plane? Infinite. How many planes in a solid, or on a sphere, a solid? Infinite. A point on a line on a plane on a solid. So he's saying that if you look at things in that way, you'll see we give so much importance, but we're not able to perceive the proper perspective. He said, just like if I'm walking around here and I step on an anthill, or sometimes devotees step on yellow jacket nest. Then of course the yellow jackets let them know about it. But if you step on an anthill, it's catastrophe for the ants. But you're unaware of anything going on. You're not perceiving that. You're not perceiving that ants are running around like with their antennas raised and signaling each other and saying, the sky is falling, the universe is caving in. To them it's a big catastrophe, but you're just out for a morning walk. So, just as there are millions of fruits on the Udambara tree, millions of universes float on the waters of the river Viraja. Tara ek falapare jadi nashta hoy tatapi brika nahi jani nija apachai. The Udambara tree is filled with millions of fruits, and if one falls down and is destroyed, the tree does not even consider the loss. Taichi ek brahmanda jari mukta hoy tabu alpa hani Krishna mane nahiloy. In the same way, if one universe is vacated due to the living entities having been liberated, that is a very little thing for Krishna. He does not take it very seriously. Innumerable universes, and by a devotee's desire, everybody in the universe will be liberated. Krishna doesn't, it is a very little thing for Krishna. He does not take it very seriously. Ananta Ishvarya Krishna Vaikuntari Dhamma Taragara Kai Krishna Abdi Jananama. The entire spiritual world constitutes the unlimited opulence of Krishna, and there are innumerable Vaikuntha planets there. The causal ocean is considered the surrounding waters of Vaikuntha. So, somebody could say, why is Krishna seemingly oblivious to the sufferings of the material of the living entities? Some people argue like that. If there's God, then why doesn't he do something about all the suffering going on in the world? Well, first of all, we'd say he does do something about it, but maybe that's not within your perception. But anyway, besides that, I'm not trying to give an impersonal example, but it may be taken that way. But, if somebody in a dream is being eaten by or attacked by a tiger, is the solution to enter into their dream and giving them a rifle to protect themselves against the tiger? No. The solution is to wake them up, not to try and arm them in their dream. Tate bashe maya loya ananta brahmanda garakaite bashe jena rai purna bandha. Maya and her unlimited material universes are situated in that causal ocean. Indeed, Maya appears to be floating like a pot filled with mustard seeds. So all these universes are like a pot filled with mustard seeds. You know, the mustard seeds are floating. So we could say, what are those mustard seeds floating on? Consciousness. They're floating. Tara ek rai nashe hane nahi mani aiche ek ananda anda nashe krishnera nahi hani. Of the millions of mustard seeds floating in that pot, if one seed is lost, the loss is not at all significant. Similarly, if one universe is lost, it is not significant to Lord Krishna. It's been compared to many mustard seeds floating in a pot. You've seen mustard seeds. How small are they? They're very small. You can have a pot full of, mustard seeds. If one mustard seed falls out of the pot, nobody's going to go searching for it. Sabramanda sahajari mayara hoi koi tatapina mane Krishna kichu apachoy. To say nothing of one universal mustard seed, even if all the universes and the material energy Maya are destroyed, Krishna does not even consider the loss. So let's see. Okay, I'll read on to the end of this exam, to the end of the conversation with Maharaj Gupta. Koti Brahmadenu Patir Chagi Jaiche Mare Sadeshwarya Pati Krishna Maya Kibam Kore. If a person possessing millions of wish-fulfilling cows loses one she-goat, he does not consider the loss. Krishna owns all 6 opulences in full. If the entire material universe is destroyed, what does he lose? So, yesterday, one of the preparations made by Damayanti was sheep cheese. And then we also have sometimes eat feta, right? Feta is goat cheese. And so we have appreciation for goats. One man asked for permission to have goats on our land, and in exchange his goats would eat poison oak. They liked it. They were on the other side of the road. We did not mind the loss of our poison oak. Although millions of goats could not finish with all the poison oak that's over there. But anyway, here it says, here the example, and this is not, so I'm saying this is not to demean goats. If a person possessing millions of wish-fulfilling cows, kamadenus, loses one she-goat, he does not consider the loss. Krishna owns all 6 opulences in full. If the entire material universe is destroyed, what does he lose? So, but in Bengal, goats are very important because they sacrifice them all the time to Ma Kali. So they must keep goats because they must have sacrifices to Ma Kali. Jaya Jaya Jahi Ajam Ajita Dosha Gribita Gunam Tvam Asiyad Atmana Samavaruda Samasta Bhaga Agajagad Okasham Akilash Shakti Avabodhakate Kvachit Ajayat Mana Cha Charato Nucharen Nigamaha. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, "O my Lord, O unconquerable one, O Master of all potencies, please exhibit your internal potency to conquer the nescience of all moving and inert living entities. Due to nescience, they accept all kinds of faulty things, thus provoking a fearful situation. O Lord, please show your glories. You can do this very easily, for your internal potency is beyond the external potency, and you are the reservoir of all opulence. You are also the demonstrator of the material potency. You are also always engaged in your pastimes in the spiritual world, where you exhibit your reserved internal potency, and sometimes you exhibit the external potency by glancing over it. Thus, you manifest your potencies. The Vedas confirm your two potencies and accept both times of pastimes due to them. So, Emanta sarva bhaktera kohe sabaguna sabare vidai dila kore alingana. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu described the good qualities of his devotees, one after the other. He then embraced them and bade them farewell. Prabhura vichedi bhakta korana rodan, bhaktere vichedi prabhur vishana hoilaman. Due to the impending separation from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the devotees began to cry. The Lord also was morose due to separation from the devotees. Gadadhar Pandita Rohila Prabhur Pashe Jameshware Prabhu Jare Koraila Vase. Gadadhar Pandit remained with Mahaprabhu, and he was given a place to live at Yameshwar. Yameshwar is on the southwest side of the Jagannath temple. Gadadhar Pandit resided there, and there was a small garden in the sandy beach known as Yameshwara Tota. And he served the deity of Tota Gopinath there in Yameshwar. Puri Gosai Jagannananda Swarup Damodar Pandidara Govinda Kashishwar Esab Sange Prabhu Vaishani Lachale Jagannatha Darshana Nitya Kore Pratakale. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained at Jagannath Puri Nilachala with Paramananda Puri, Jagannananda, Swarup Damodar Pandit, Govinda and Kashishwar. It was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's daily practice to see Lord Jagannath in the morning. Then Prabhu Pashashi Sarvabhauma Ekdin Joda Hate Kore Kichu Koila Nibedan. One day Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya came before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with folded hands and submitted a request. So this chapter is called Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya offers prashadam. So now, this is verse 186. So we've read first part was Mahaprabhu bidding farewell to the devotees at the end of the Chaturmasya. Now we'll go into, tomorrow we'll begin with the pastime of Mahaprabhu taking prashadam at Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house. Okay? And again, I would also say that Ashram is going to be with us for 8-9 days like that. He'll be with us through the program, through Govardhan Puja, which I'm hoping to be able to celebrate in the morning, because that's how I think Govardhan Puja should be celebrated. But we'll also have an evening program for those persons who cannot come in the morning. And we have different holidays coming up. I believe a day or two before Govardhan Puja, we have the festival of offering lights to the deities. So there, we'll have that goes on for 2 or 3 days. And on first day we're offering lamps, and the second day is Diwali. And Diwali is a huge festival in northern Indians, especially Lord Ramachandra's return to Ayodhya. And in Bengal, more or less at the same time, they're having Kali Puja. So there's different celebrations going on. But we celebrate offering lamps to the deities, and one of those days is Diwali. So hopefully we can get some of our dear Indian devotees to come join with us. Especially we have several who are from Delhi in that area, and they celebrate Diwali. So that day's coming up the beginning of next week, and we also have Govardhan Puja. This whole month is the month of Kartik, very important month. So I also would like to invite any of the devotees to come and join with us and be with Ashram Maharaj and everything. One person, Jayanta Krishna, he asked me, well, when's Ashram Maharaj going to be available? And I said, well, principally he'll be available for evening programs, but he's also available during the day. And I sent him a calendar for November, which has many days on it, so you can see which days are special holidays and join with us. And I believe that calendar is also posted on the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram Facebook page, so you can download the calendars. Download the calendars. November, December, January, February, March, all those are available as monthly calendars with, like Western calendars, so that you can see the days. So anyway, now I'm going to sing Hari Haraya, and then we'll have prashadam. Oh, and I have to go. Pretty soon.
You have a doctor appointment.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, I turned this off. Let's see. Back on. Okay. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Nama. Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama. Gopal Govinda Ram Shimadhusudan. Giridhari Gopinatha Marana Mohan. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra. Janardan Shiva Sadi Gora Bhaktivedanta. Jai Rupa Sanatana Bhakta Ranguna. Shri Jiva Gopala Bhakta Dasha Raguna. Jai Gosai Kori Chanana Bandhan. Jai Vignana Shami Sapuran. Jai Gosai Jar Mui Taradan. Kasaba Pada Renu Mora Panchagram. Pader Charana Sevi Bhakta Saniba. Janame More Amila. Jai Gosai Jabe Bhakti Koilaba. Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakar. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitya Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Nitya Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhara Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramansa Paravajakacharya Ashta Tarasara Shishi Mad Srila Bhakti Kusham Ashram Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Tilak Neriha Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmalacharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramansa Paravajakacharya Ashta Tarasara Shishi Mad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramansa Paravajakacharya Ashta Tarasara Shishi Mad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhaktivedanta Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namachari Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasha Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Premsigo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Vishvavarinya Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Ramayapur Ki Jai. Saparshada Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshada Shriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Shri Koladev Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Soquel Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram Ki Jai. Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopi Govardhan. Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Ju Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Shri Ashram Maharaj Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.